South Africa has been on a drive to ensure that there's an environment that is conducive for growth. This being economically and also the labor force that has been over time experiencing challenges, some of the jobs being lost through geopolitical issues that have affected South Africa. But this being an opportunity whereby for 4 days we'll see members of the BRICS formation gathering here in South Africa for just issues to be thrashed out around the decent work. This is the Employment Working Group of the BRICS, where the Department of Employment and Labor is playing host here, inviting, of course, also member countries or invitees from neighboring countries like your Zimbabwe, like your Eswatini, dignitaries also gathering here from your International Labour Organization and from the African Union, whereby issues of decent work and creating those conducive environments for growth of the economy will come under the spotlight. I'm going to bring into the conversation now our host, this being the Department of Employment and Labor, the Deputy Minister, Witumelo Muloi, who joins us now to just let us in really on what we can expect here. I know very well that South Africa has been on a drive, government per se, to ensure that we create those well-needed jobs. Here we're taking stock of where we are as a country, as a continent, and we know very well that as a department you've been making sure that you work with the BRICS formation to come through with those well-needed solutions. Welcome to the SABC. Let us in really on how important is it that we meet here today, and how important is it that for the 4 days these issues of decent work will come under the spotlight?
Thank you so much, Katlego. As the Department of Employment and Labor in the Republic of South Africa, we are very proud to be hosting this session. It's a technical session. It's officials from all the BRICS member countries, but we have also taken liberty of inviting, as you have already alluded to, the fact that we have invited other African countries within SADC. We have invited Zimbabwe, Eswatini, Malawi, who are present in this meeting. We've got other guests like your International Labour Organization, who are based in Pretoria office. We've got ARLAC, which is an African body affiliated to the AU. We are here because we want to craft a way forward as BRICS member countries, and together with our neighbors, to craft a way forward in terms of issues that relates to decent work. And if you remember, the issues that talks to decent work, and as the Department of Employment and Labor, we are the custodians of policies, legislation that has to do with labor relations, issues that has to do with compensation of workers, and many other issues. And we felt that as part of, because as South Africa, I'm sure you are aware of the fact that we are now assuming, or we have assumed, the chairship of BRICS, and there will be a BRICS summit later this year, which will be chaired by President Cyril Ramaphosa. So this is one of the first meetings as a build-up towards other meetings that are actually coming to be hosted here in South Africa for BRICS countries. So in the next 4 days, all officials from all BRICS member countries will be seized with the fact that they must come up with what will lead to a declaration later in terms of the agreeable issues that talks to decent work. How do we make sure that our people at work are looked after, are treated decently? People, the conventions that are there in terms of in the ILO that talks to equal pay for work of equal value. How do we make sure that we agree to a particular standard? Already ILO has set that particular standard, but as BRICS member countries, how do we make sure that we actionalize that type of conventions, and we make sure that in reality our people are treated well? If you are a worker in India, you must be treated the same way as if you are a worker in South Africa. And I think that if we come with those universal agreements, and that will lead to the signing of a declaration by our ministers of employment and labor of the BRICS countries. I think for us, it will be much an achievement for all of us once we do that. Not forgetting the fact that as South Africa, within the member states of BRICS, remember we are actually having this issue of unemployment rate that is to its rooftop, and it's some of the issues that we'll be sharing in terms of how do we make sure that we create those decent jobs that are sustainable for our people. How do we formalize the informal economy, the informal sector? Because what we call informal in South Africa, what we don't count as employment, like your small businesses that you count as small businesses and you don't count as employment. In India, they count it as part of employment. That is why you will actually worry that in India, the level of unemployment is lesser than our level of unemployment, because they are taking issues that has to do with the informal economy, like people who are selling in the streets there. They are taking it as a formal job. So we need to begin to also review how do we categorize formal work or formal employment, because those people are earning a salary. By selling vegetables in the street corner, it's an income because you take kids to school, you're paying school fees. So we need to begin to check and learn the best practices from our other counterparts in the BRICS formation.
Yeah, thank you very much, Deputy Minister Moloi, coming through there, just giving us a sense of what we can expect and the role of the Department of Employment and Labour, coming through at a time as well where wages are just a hot topic right now, where workers are concerned here in South Africa. So we're expecting that those issues will form part of this program that will run for the coming 4 days. Katlego, Legodi, SABC News, Mohale City.